purple smoke up in the sky. Pretty soon you'll learn to fly. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano blows. You might go quickly say to me, Mom, you better watch your feet. Lava come down soft and hot. You're loving me now or loving me not. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano comes. Oh, no time to count for what it's worth. 'Cause I just left this planet Earth. Where I go, I hope there's rum. I know there's gonna be a lot on the island tomorrow. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano blows. Well, I don't wanna land in New York City. I wanna land no Mexico. Don't wanna land no Three Mile Island. Don't wanna see my skin afloat. Don't wanna land Comanche, Skyport, or in Nashville, Tennessee. Don't wanna land no San Juan Airport or the Yukon Territory. Don't wanna land no San Diego. Don't wanna land no Desert State. Don't wanna land no Iota. I ain't got nothing more to say. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano blows. No, 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 no. Hey everybody, it's Wes Seiler from Preservative Var, and I am thrilled to have my good friend Chance John Meyer hanging out with me for an interview. Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, Wes. I appreciate you inviting me this
Yeah.
evening, giving me a chance to talk about Recall Florida.
Yes, everything that you want to talk about. I love hanging out with you, man. You're in so many different projects. You're working hard for the county. We've had a lot of different chances to connect in a lot of different places, but it's always a pleasure, man. So, but talk to me, for folks that don't know you, about, how you got here and, how you found yourself in Santa Rosa County.
Well, my name is Chance John Meyer, and I'm originally from the state of Missouri. Grew up as a farm kid. 1985, I joined the United States Air Force and was trained as an aircraft mechanic. And after my service, I went back to Missouri, and it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Was it Florida?
It was not Florida. No, it was not Florida. And Missouri had changed so
Yeah.
much. But
Yeah.
so I made a decision to come back to Florida.
Good.
And
Yeah.
I bounced around between Fort Walton and Destin. I ended up in Santa Rosa Beach, and then I ended up coming back to Pensacola.
Yeah.
And when I got to Pensacola, I went to PJC Warrington and started going to paramedic school. Went through 10 months of paramedic school, extremely hard school. And during this time, of course, I'm working and going to school at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's when I ran into my wife.
Yeah.
And before long, we ended up getting married.
Another good decision.
Yeah, it was a great decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good times. And just to make a long story short, we ended up going to Bible College in Jacksonville for 3 years, and that venture carried me to New Hampshire.
Okay.
Spent 10 years in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Started working as a prison officer in
Okay.
2000.
Okay.
Worked for 6 years. 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm losing track of my time.
Yeah.
And then
Runs together.
ended up coming back to Florida.
Smart. Yeah, no, we have so much in common. I know we've talked about this some, but my wife's from New Hampshire, so she can definitely relate. We're going up there in a few weeks, actually, just to get just a little taste of snow, like a week of it, and then we're right back to Florida. I told her I'm a Southern boy, I want to live in the South, and it took Florida for her to agree to that. I said, well, hold on a second. Let's give it a try. Let's see how it goes. So I took her down here
brought her to Navarre. She checked it out. She's like, okay, I can get with this. Like,
Yeah.
I'll become a Southern grower for that and for you. So, like, very similar story. And now we're here.
Yeah.
Now we're here. Couldn't imagine any other place.
Yeah.
Than Florida. It's the best state in the nation. And then getting to be here with your family, getting to enjoy the weather, getting to get involved locally in politics and make a difference in your community. That's a good life, man.
Florida's a good state, and there's a lot of good people in this state. You just sit and listen to their stories,
Yeah.
and just take some time and spend some time with them. And we really have some good people in this state.
Yeah, we're blessed, man. We're blessed. So let's talk about some of those projects that you're working on, because that's really where we connected. That's when I first got to know you, was really catching the vision of what you're working on. So talk to me about Recall Florida, because that's your number one project, and you've been at that for a while, right?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. In 2020, I just really kind of became disgusted with what was going on in local politics, in federal politics, and I just started asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I could tell that the people were upset. I know that our elected officials rule according to our consent, and I
Right.
wanted to know,
Right.
if these guys aren't doing what they're doing, how do we get rid of them? So
Right.
I started asking questions. At that time, I didn't know anything about recall, so
Yeah.
I started doing some investigations. I talked to some people. Started off talking with people with the Republican Liberty Caucus,
Yeah.
John Hallman,
Yeah.
and he said, if I was going to advise you on the best route to take, I wouldn't
Right.
try and reinvent the wheel. Florida already has a recall law.
Right.
And he pointed me towards Florida Statute 100.361, which allows charter counties and municipalities to recall,
Yeah.
but that unfortunately leaves out 47 counties that don't have that
Right. Like Santa Rosa County, where we live. Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of citizens that are dealing with some really bad actors in the county.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to find a way that we could do something for them.
Sure.
So in 2020, we started out in the legislature. We had one of our representatives, Jared Williamson, picked up the bill,
Right.
and pushed it forward. We're new to this game. We don't know anything about Senate sponsors or House sponsors or anything like that. And our legislature, sure enough, is not giving us any free answers.
I see.
So we had to find that ourselves, and
Okay.
we didn't have a Senate sponsor. And then fast forward to
Yeah.
the second year,
Yeah.
we picked up a Senate sponsor,
Right.
and we had a House sponsor. Jared Williamson sponsored it again.
Right.
Senate sponsor didn't do anything with it. He sat
stuck.
on it.
Yeah.
We're like, "What's up?"
So let's talk about that, because I want to kind of get back to helping folks understand the issue, because I know you're in it. You understand that you've been fighting for it. You're talking about a situation in which the people of a county want an official removed. Why would they need recall to do that? Why not just get another candidate in the next election? What does recall give you that would make that better?
I think that's a good question. 4 years is a long time, and when you have elected officials that are in office for 4 years, they are heavily influenced by the builder and developer community. And these builders, developers, they're in business to make money. How do you make money? You got to get property rezoned.
Yeah.
So they work closely with the county commissioners, and we all know we've been doing this long enough. We contribute to this campaign. You do me a favor. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as free money when it comes
Right.
to politics.
Right.
If the builder developer community wants to contribute money to a commissioner, they can do that.
Right.
But they have expectations,
Right.
and sometimes those expectations don't jive with the members of the community.
I see.
And then you run into issues with overgrowth,
Yeah.
improper infrastructure, things
Right.
like that. Building without infrastructure, there's a whole host of issues that can come into play there.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes an elected official will get so close to that ethical line or that
Yeah.
legal line. Sometimes they'll step over.
Mm-hmm.
And when they step over, well, they violate the law
Mm-hmm.
through acts of malfeasance or misfeasance, or if they just completely neglect their duty. something along those lines.
Okay.
The citizens should be able to remove them.
I see. Yeah, so it's for an egregious offense, essentially. It's not just someone you disagree with or you don't like what they stand for.
Absolutely not.
It's those folks crossing a line, and at that point, all of a sudden people realize, oh, this is not the person we thought, or, they shouldn't continue to hold that office. We're not going to wait 2-3 years to replace him. We can do that now.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah,
That makes
no,
sense.
you can't recall somebody just because you don't like a policy. Florida Statute 100.361 was written in 1968, so it's been around a long time. A lot of
Yeah.
people, in the 4 years that we've been doing this, a lot of people think that that process can be misused or something like that.
Yeah. Or like partisan, right?
Yeah,
Like
like it's
Democrats could use against Republicans, Republicans against Democrats.
Simply crazy. The
Okay.
bill's almost 50 years old. If that was the case in the last 50 years, that would have been done numerous times over and over and over again.
You're right. Because like you said, other counties have this, and you can see that process,
Yeah,
in
exactly.
play already
Yeah.
and see what it brings, right?
Exactly. It's a serious recall's a serious deal. A lot of citizens will sometimes get involved in a recall process. They've not done their homework. They're just very passionate. They want this guy removed. They don't do their homework. They
Sure.
don't read anything, and they go out there and they don't follow the process.
Okay.
Recall falls flat on its face. It's over and done with, and it kind of it's just not good. It's
Yeah.
not good for the recall community, those that want good governance,
Right.
want to do things the right way. It just doesn't look good
So-
as a whole.
So then what's the objection? Because you mentioned a couple times where, you've gotten it into the legislature, you got this bill going along, and then it's dropped, like at the Senate or wherever. What's the thought process? Why not have more of this accountability? What do you think the opposition is?
Well, I personally think the opposition is 44% of our legislators are involved in real estate or the builder community.
Uh-huh.
So they have that conflicting interest. They have to work through the county commissioners to accomplish what they want. They might have a side business. They might own a construction company.
I see.
They might own a real estate company. They might be a developer, something
Right.
along those lines. So they want to have that free flow of funds going on. And when you've got recall
Yep.
and you've got an active citizen base that's getting involved with the county commissioner
Yeah.
that has crossed that moral ethical line, it creates problems
Makes sense.
for our legislature. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I can't say that emphatically, but
Yeah.
it follows a good logical sense for me.
Yeah.
It slows down that money flow. It keeps them from doing what they want to do to
Right.
try and make money for themselves.
So then how do you overcome that? Because, America, people can make money, they can invest that money, they can contribute to politicians, right? Like you said, sometimes that comes with expectations. And then, they can stop your bill, right, by influencing a legislature to do so. So what do you do, as the group leader to overcome that?
Well, the thing with recall, one of the hardest things is getting the citizen base
Yeah.
to get them to wake up and understand how important accountability is.
Yeah.
We live in a republic.
Right.
Our elected leaders govern according to our consent.
Yeah.
If we don't have a tool to check them,
Right.
they can pretty much do what they want. There
Yep.
is a
Yeah, I get it, man.
There is a infraction called misfeasance.
Right.
Misfeasance is legal.
Right.
There's no illegality to that.
Right.
So they can commit this. Misfeasance causes harm. It's power used in the wrong way.
Right.
So I could do misfeasance all day long
Right.
in one of the 47 counties.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Right.
Tough guy.
Right.
You going to remove me?
Right.
There's no recall.
Yeah.
I can do what I want.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that because here in Navarre, we have encountered situations like that where power was being abused. We've seen that in our water system where the former CEO had just a tight grip on that system and then was using it to benefit himself, ignoring the rules, no financial accountability, doing contracts without the board approval, voting himself pay raises without the board approval. And it's like, what do? Right? The CEO, in that case, not elected, right? And so how do you stand up, to that kind of power? What we did was we worked with the citizens, we did social media ads, we got the truth out, and then the media eventually started to ask questions, and all the cards started coming down, and people saw the truth and got motivated. So I see a lot of commonality in what you're doing, because it's about engaging the citizens and saying, hey, do you know what's happening? Do you know what's going on down the street? Do you realize what you're paying for, and paying your taxes and paying these folks' salaries? Do you see what's happening? Yeah.
You had mentioned getting the citizens involved.
Yeah.
At Recall Florida, I've often told our members a lot of times, in the United States, we're big on we the people.
Right.
We the people is a term of ownership.
Yes.
And it extends before the ballot box, and then it extends after the ballot box. This is our country. This is our state. This is our county.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility to get involved in the city government and the county government, and make sure that it runs properly.
Right.
I mean, when you have 2 or 3 people showing up at the county commissioner,
Right.
They don't take you serious.
Right. Yeah.
And they've even made quotes. Well, it's just to 2 or 3 of you guys up there.
Yeah.
And nobody shows up because they don't believe their voice is being heard.
Right.
And that's a problem for me when you have county commissioners that say things like that.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying to me is, I don't value you as a citizen.
Right.
And if you don't value me as a citizen, why are you sitting in that seat that we put you in?
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. No, I think about that with the county. I think about that with the water system that we have here. Right. We just had an election. We see people turning out, but so many people are like, what's this election? The water system's having an election. What's the water system? They don't even realize that their bills have increased year to year, and that they just voted in another rate increase, right? They don't realize that that's a government fueled monopoly. They don't realize that it has a stranglehold on Navarre, and that it has enormous amounts of power over their daily life. It's dealing out favors and discounts to different businesses, controlling so much of the planning that's going on around here based on their tap fees. The more that people start to get educated and realize, wow, there's something to this, then all of a sudden they start to get involved. So it's connecting that to their daily lives. I think that's the big challenge here, is showing people, hey, your county government, your local government matters. It affects your daily life.
It absolutely does.
Right? It affects your life. And so the minute that you get involved and realize that, you start to say, wow, and I need to do something about it. And the more tools I can have, the better. So I love what you're doing, man. I'm so excited about that. So how do people get involved with this? How do they sign up for Recall Florida and start to contribute to what you're doing?
Well, there's a couple of things that the citizens can do. They can join us on Facebook. We have we're quickly approaching 5,000 members on Facebook.
Yeah.
And once you become a part of that group, we have accumulated hundreds of resources that we've put in our files and guides section, where the citizens can go and they can educate themselves on ethics, laws regarding recall, Florida Commission on Ethics, the First Amendment Foundation, all kinds of different things where the citizen can go and learn more, communicate with other members on the page that are going on, because sometimes you can learn something from another member. What we try and do is we try and create engagement with the citizens.
Right.
Because we may have a problem here in Santa Rosa, and someone down in, say, Flagler County is experiencing something kind of the same, and they can see how we're handling it.
Right.
So we try and bring those stories together so that our members can see that and see how things are being handled and become proactive in dealing with those issues in their own communities.
That's amazing. It's limited government. That's what it is. Is trying to limit the power the government has, which I think it should unite all Americans, and especially all Floridians, right?
Absolutely.
That's one of the biggest challenges that I think you and I both have is people assume, because we lead groups that are bipartisan or nonpartisan, that we must be on one side or the other, right? Like they assume, oh, if you've got a group with people from both parties, then you must be a hypocrite, or you must be, a rhino or something like that. But I've known you for a long time, man. And you're someone who deeply cares about this place. You care about conservative values, right? And leading that group doesn't mean that you forfeit those, right? And the same thing for me is people say, how can you walk around and, shake the hand of a Democrat, still call yourself a Republican? I'm like, well, they're they're in your grocery stores. You know, they go to your churches, right? Like there's Republicans and Democrats in the military, and it turns out there are some things, not a lot, but there are some things we can agree on.
Absolutely.
And I don't think recall should be one of those.
I mean, I think one of the things that I want to say in that, you and I have some common enemies in this county.
Yeah.
And we have to get beyond this Republican Democrat mindset. I know I've seen you be attacked.
Yeah.
I know I've been attacked.
Sure.
We've got some commonalities as citizens in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I want to say to those that are watching this video, we have to find those commonalities, because our powers to be the elite ruling class, what they do is they work to divide us and keep us divided and keep us fighting against each other.
Yeah.
When I elect an official for an office, I elect that individual. I understand that he's representing both Republicans and Democrats.
Right.
We've had some elected officials that talk trash about Democrats. I don't necessarily agree with everything that those of that political favor might believe in, and they don't necessarily agree with everything that I believe in.
Yeah.
But there's still some things that we can agree on, and
Right.
one of the things that I wish more of us agreed on is accountability with our corrupt county officials. And the only way we are going to beat that is if we come together and we fight that and we demand that. Our Constitution says to instruct our representatives.
Right.
To instruct our representatives and say, this is what I want from you. I want a recall bill. I want to hold my elected officials accountable.
Yep.
And we need to get on it.
The way that you show that to people is doing this. You get accountability, I think, from transparency, from communicating and showing people what's really going on. And the more you do that, the more people are going to rise up and say, okay, we got to do something about what he's saying. And that's connect to you. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for coming down to VAR, spending time with us and our
Wes,
group.
I appreciate it.
Anytime you want to come back, you let me know, brother.
Yes, sir,
So
I'll do that.
thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Remember our Facebook page, our YouTube, Instagram. We're on all that. Our website is preservativevar.com. And then don't forget Recall Florida to visit my friend out there. All right, y'all take care. Have a great night. Bye.